WWE made its long-awaited debut on Netflix tonight with a star-studded lineup befitting its biggest premium live event offerings. Headlined by CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa in a tribal combat match. What went down in the company's maiden voyage with the streaming giant? And what does it mean as it embarks on the road to the Royal Rumble? Find out now with this recap, including ratings and analysis for every segment. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of the Phenom, boy. If he comes in, we shall catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us Friday night for NFL Friday Super Wildcard Weekend Edition. Big night tonight, the debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Intuit Dome, Los Angeles, California. And it started it off. The Netflix era of WWE kicked off tonight with an incredible cold open video package telling the story of professional wrestling before Triple H took center stage. He welcomed fans to the show before pyro erupted around him. From there, The Rock entered the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles to a thunderous ovation. The Great One took to the squared circle for a promo in which he thanked Netflix executives Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns in a promo that was interesting only because it never felt like a guy continuing the final boss character we last saw on the Raw after WrestleMania 40. Whether the crowd pandering and catchphrases were meant to be a diversion to distract from the creative plans remains to be seen, but this felt out of character considering what we saw from Rock less than a year ago. An interesting start to the show that capitalized on the Hollywood megastar's name value, but did not necessarily do so in a way that was true to the overarching narrative that began on the road to WrestleMania last year. The overall grade, or the overall rating here, though, is a positive one for the extraordinary presentation and production at the top of this show. Rock announced that tonight's show is the largest arena gate in WWE history. The Great One thanked Cody Rhodes with no tension or dismay between them. Interesting, given the last time we witnessed them on television together. And The Rock acknowledged Roman Reigns as the only tribal chief. Also interesting. So, very interesting start to this Netflix era of Monday Night Raw, to say the very least. So, there isn't anything else left for me to say except good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in, front and center. You ready to start a new era?
Man, this was insane, and I gotta say, to see the way that stage looked, to see the excitement, and a lot of people were very nervous. A lot of people were very nervous about what was this gonna look like. I will admit, at least on my end, because I was still heading on home from my job. I got out, unfortunately, at 8 o'clock, but on the way I had to watch it on my phone, and at least on my end it did buffer. So I was thinking, what is it gonna look like the rest of the way? Once I got home, no problemas. It looked crystal clear. It looked sharp. It looked very nice. I even put it on my laptop here in my home, and it was a little grainy on certain areas with the laptop, but I think it's kind of more of a the audio was going in and out. I know there was some complaints about the audio throughout the night, especially on Raw. But picture quality, everything else, I think WWE and Netflix will be just fine with that. With that aspect of it tonight, I think they did a really good job with it. With Triple H coming out with that new ring that we just saw, but it was leaked on Friday night on SmackDown. It was leaked apparently with the ring looking like it is, with the advertisements, but it wasn't overpowering, so it didn't really give us a freak out. We knew something like this was probably going to happen. We know that with Netflix, with the $5 billion price tag that Netflix paid for Monday Night Raw, you knew stuff like this was going to happen. No arguments. It didn't really seem much of an issue for me. I don't know about the rest of the fan base, but at the end of the day, it was fine. Rock coming out, cutting his promo. Obviously, I was looking for Final Boss like, but he was more of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, more of that Rock. So it was a little different. Yes, was I perplexed like you guys were? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it was fine for what it was worth. They did a really good job with it. So yeah, Rock's promo was solid, and it led us to the first fight of the night. And oddly enough, Anthony Florio, I thought this was going to be the main event. But my God, boy, did they jump it off with a banger. And what I thought should have been the main event, they gave it right out of the gate. And trust me, I had no complaints over this.
I certainly don't either. And here we go. We start off the wrestling portion of the night. Tribal combat for the Ula Fala and the right to be called the tribal chief. Solo Sikoa squaring off against the OTC, Roman Reigns, with his wise man Paul Heyman in his corner. If Roman had lost this match, if Roman were to lose this match, Paul Heyman would have to serve as the wise man for Solo Sikoa and his bloodline. The winner of the match in 21 and a half minutes, and the undisputed tribal chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns regains the Ula Fala, but it was The Rock. The Rock comes back out, and he puts the Ula Fala around the neck of Roman Reigns. They embrace, and that's basically all. So MF, Roman Reigns, once again, the tribal chief of the Anoa'i family, defeating Solo Sikoa, tribal combat, 21 and a half minutes.
And it was everything that you expected it and more with this match. This was easily 4 stars, 4.5 if you want to call it, fine. There was some interference. Obviously, Jacob Fatu got involved. Gorillas of Destiny got involved. But at the end of the day, it was all about Roman Reigns overcoming those odds and re-establishing himself as tribal chief. That was the mission that he needed it to do. Now, there was rumors about Paul Heyman maybe turning. He never did. Paul Heyman was out there for one job and one job only, to hold the Ula Fala. And he, at the time, we all thought it was going to be him that was going to place it on him. However, Rock comes back out because the fans were, because of everything that went down, but it was customary. As you know, in the bloodline, we this was already established by even Dwayne himself, that he is high chief. He is blessed by the elders, and by royalty, legit royalty of the Samoan and Alawahi family, of that family tree, that he was blessed to be the high chief. Therefore, as a tribal elder of that Samoan religion, that Samoan lineage, that bloodline, as we will acknowledge, he was the perfect one to present the Ulafala back to Roman Reigns and to reestablish Roman as tribal chief of the bloodline. And now everybody will have to acknowledge Roman Reigns. Now, where does that go from here? That's going to be the big question now, is what does this lead for Roman? What does it lead for Solo? And more importantly, the remaining members of the bloodline. You would think now, with this happening, that they would fall in line with Roman. That the Guerrillas of Destiny, Jacob Fatu, and now Solo would have to fall in line and acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. He won. He won the match. He's got the Ulafala back. So that would be the next thing for him. If you're Roman, there's only one thing left in your path. That's to get back what you believe is rightfully yours. The undisputed WWE Championship. And more importantly, to get revenge on the man that ended it all for you, that ended the 1,316-day reign of your championship, to get back and rewrite the story of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. That's the next mission for Roman Reigns more than anything else in this world, is that now you got your bloodline back, you got the Ulafala back. Now you go after, there's only one thing left to go after, and that's the WWE Championship, and to go after that belt. However, there was one thing that also looked very interesting. Did you notice the look when Rock presented Roman with the Ulafala back? But did you see that stare down? But did you also see the look that Paul Heyman had when all this was going down as well?
Absolutely.
Very, very, very interesting. Now, there was talk about maybe that Heyman turns on Roman. Maybe not now, but could it be possible down the line he could? And more importantly, is it possible? Now, never say never, but is it possible that we could possibly be on the verge of the ultimate dream fight that the world has been waiting for? Rock versus Roman, one-on-one at WrestleMania, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. Could we be on the road to that? Now, that all hinges on Rock more than anybody else. You know, he's got the movie commitments. You know, he's got a lot of things probably coming up the pipeline, at least for him. If that happens, I think we'll all be excited to see. But at the end of the day, tonight, it's all about Roman Reigns. It's all about winning the match. And I don't normally do this on cam. And you know I don't. But I got to do it. I acknowledge the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, the OTC. There's only one. And now he is that one. Anthony Florio, brother, it is all yours.
Oh boy, I don't know how to follow that, but I will do my absolute best, as I always can do. 4 to 4.25 stars. You can make an argument for fight of the night on this. This had a slow start, but once we came back from the second break, this was a ton of fun. It was an Attitude Era-esque brawl with logical run-ins, story advancement, and a crowd-pleasing finish. A great way to kick off this Netflix run that highlighted the biggest star and two of the biggest stories in the company. After the match, The Rock emerged from the locker room and placed the Ula Fala around the neck of the undisputed tribal chief. Anyone expecting a beatdown or a betrayal by Paul Heyman was proven wrong, as Rock stood back and watched the victor celebrate. The fans in LA chanted profanities at Sikoa, and you could hear every word. Netflix is a different beast for WWE.
Oh, yes, I love that. I'm going to love this.
So do I. Sikoa delivered a wicked spinning Uranagi to Reigns onto the announce table and seized control of the match. He followed up by tossing the ring stairs directly in Roman's face. Pat McAfee said on commentary, live on 80% of the earth. An absolutely enormous number when you think about it. And a great near fall off a super kick, haluva kick, and spear from Reigns after a second referee was late arriving, and Solo kicked out at 2 to the disbelief of the crowd. How about those sweet new uniforms for the referees, huh?
Yeah. There's some people that didn't really like it. I gotta say, the black actually looks better, but it also blended in with the ring. It also blended in with the ring very nicely. Now, I wonder if they're gonna do that with SmackDown, if they're gonna give them the blue look with the blue ring that they do now, with the blue mat. I don't know, but I'll say this: it blended very nicely. So yeah, I actually like the new shirts.
Absolutely. So yeah, I definitely did too. Sweet looking new unis for the referees there. So all right. And then a news and views item was dropped. Next year, January 2026, the Royal Rumble is going to emanate from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. How about that?
I will openly admit, I got mixed emotions about this.
Yes.
Obviously, look, for the Royal Rumble to be in Riyadh, I'm fine with it. I understand it. I get it. Obviously, there's a lot of political aspects of it. There's a lot of human rights aspects of it. There's a lot of things that's gonna draw the ire of a lot of a majority of the non-wrestling fan base. That's not fans of professional wrestling, but outside of professional wrestling, that's gonna raise a few eyebrows with this announcement. However, WWE and Saudi Arabia has a partnership that does stem from now until 2030. We all know it. We all know when it was established, and we know who was responsible for that agreement at that time. I think to do a Royal Rumble event, I don't have an issue with it. Like I said, I know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be very negative about it. But at the end of the day, WWE is doing things that are where there's more and more events that's being held outside of the United States, and you're starting to notice that a lot more now. So if they're giving it because they feel like they could really do some great business outside of the United States, by all means, do it.
And don't forget, second half of mid to late March, we're gonna have Raws and SmackDowns overseas.
Yeah.
In Italy and Spain and Belgium and England.
To start during this road to WrestleMania, you're going to see a lot more international events. Yes. So
yeah,
I kind of feel like, and this is why, and I want to really emphasize this a lot. This is why the partnership with TKO happened, because this is a very logical TKO move. Because if you know, I am a diehard supporter of the UFC. You know, I watch every event that's UFC, and the UFC from time to time does events outside of the United States, and they're doing more events outside of the United States.
Absolutely.
So for me, I've seen this blueprint be laid out a number of years. And every time they go outside the US, they do just as great business than they do in the United States. And what Ari Emanuel and TKO is thinking, if it works for the UFC, it's gonna work for WWE. And if you notice, from the events in France to Puerto Rico to Scotland to Ireland and everywhere else, it has worked. Every single time WWE's been outside the US, their shows have been very profitable more than anything else. And because of Saudi Arabia, their partnership with the Saudi family and everything that goes with it, they believe they'll have a very successful Royal Rumble event that would be a great kickoff to the road to WrestleMania that will be for 2026. So,
yeah,
I mean, I get it. I understand it. I know there's some people, like I said, unless outside of the wrestling world, and I mean, this is outside of everything that we normally do. If you want to go into the political spectrum of it, the agricultural spectrum of it, human rights spectrum of it, this will draw a lot of ire and maybe a little bit of some anger towards WWE. But if you think about it as a business aspect, this is why WWE has always pushed the envelope, and they've done things that's not been very conventional. This is going to be another one of those decisions. But we'll wait and see how it plays out. But this is going to be the biggest event that Saudi Arabia will ever have, because they just landed a Big Four event. This isn't just Crown Jewel or whatever. This is the Royal Rumble. I mean, other than Mania, other than Survivor Series, other than SummerSlam, you just landed a major 4 PLE event.
Yes.
I mean, that it just takes that to that next level more than anything else. So, Anthony, that's how I feel about it. It's yours.
Yeah, and that'll kickstart the road to WrestleMania 42 next year. And And on top of that, they also announced that it will be back in the month of January. So it'll be interesting to see what day we get this. And it is a mixed bag for me as well. I mean, I read a lot of comments on social media. A lot of people are not happy about that announcement. A lot of people poo-pooing all over this, and I can certainly understand. The Saudi shows haven't really been all that exciting. I mean, there've been a few great ones here and there, but this is the Royal Rumble, guys. So as we always say, give it a chance, and we'll see what happens. But that's next year. Of course, we got to get to this year's, of course, next month at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. So, but anyways, we move on now, and out comes the next segment, John Cena. The kickoff of the John Cena Farewell Tour. And John Cena will kick off his farewell tour by entering the Royal Rumble match on February the 1st with the intent to win it and pursue his historic 17th World Heavyweight Championship. He revealed tonight in his return to WWE. The greatest of all time hit the ring to a deafening pop and hinted that he did not believe a championship was possible, citing his long winless streak of the last several years. It was all a setup to announce his entry into the annual 30-man spectacle, with a WrestleMania main event awaiting the man who emerges victoriously. And with that, the Rumble means that much more. Not only is it Cena's last Rumble, it is his first chance to earn a championship opportunity and etch his name in the history books as the most prolific champion in the history of professional wrestling. That is a story that tells itself in a landscape full of other ongoing programs, rivalries, and feuds. John Cena is about to take the WWE Universe on a ride full of highs, lows, emotions, and hopefully one last title run. And some of the things that came out of it, Cena said, damn, there's people everywhere. And he also said, LA is where the prototype was born. LA is where I won my first WWE championship. Of course, that was at WrestleMania 21 when he defeated John Bradshaw Layfield for the WWE championship. And even "You Deserve It" chants from the crowd to John Cena as he discusses becoming a record-breaking 17-time champion. It is a testament to his tireless efforts that he turned that crowd, once hostile toward him, to a crowd supporting one last title run for the future Hall of Famer. He did say, as far as the 17th championship is concerned, it's never going to happen. And then he said, I should play, right? I should be in the Rumble. And he also said, the only time we say never around here is when we say never give up. You can make an argument that this was the segment of the night right here. So, very good segment here. And now we have two entrants into the men's Royal Rumble match. LA Knight was the first to declare for the Royal Rumble match this past Friday night on SmackDown. And now the champ has thrown his hat into the ring for the Royal Rumble match, looking to win his third Royal Rumble match. He won it in the first one was, of course, that unforgettable surprise return in 2008 in Madison Square Garden, one of the greatest moments in Royal Rumble history. The other, of course, a little more predictable, when he won it in 2013 to set up the second WrestleMania match with The Rock. And if he were to win it, he would tie Stone Cold Steve Austin for the most Royal Rumble victories of all time. This would be his third if he gets it. So he automatically is a favorite. Will he win it? Well, only time will tell. But for me, anyways, this was the segment of the night. So no question about it. MF, the champ, is back.
Yep.
And February 1st, he is going to enter the Royal Rumble match. And if he wins it for the third time, he gets a golden opportunity. He gets to go to Vegas, WrestleMania, and cement his legacy as the GOAT.
Yeah, and the all-time record is on the line if he gets it. For John Cena, like he said, he had not won a match in over 2,000 days. And it has been a long, long, long time that he's gotten the victory. But Cena's gotta get that monkey off the back first. But to try to win the Royal Rumble, and you know this is the most highly competitive Royal Rumble we've ever had, because there's gonna be a lot of guys who's gonna be in it that you could think that could possibly win it all. Cena just put his name out there. LA Knight put his name out there. They're the only two confirmed. A third one that kind of is hinting that he's going to be in it.
Who said that? I don't know if we lost MF here. I mean, his mic is on. I just can't hear him.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you now.
Punk.
CM Punk. Oh yeah, CM Punk, absolutely.
That's why I said he hadn't officially declared, but he's all but declared, because remember how he made that little thesis statement about 2024? I should say 2025, that he's going to win all the titles, and he was going to get a title and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I believe he did mention about Royal Rumble, Chamber, all that stuff. So I'm almost certain that we could possibly pencil in the best in the world to be at the Royal Rumble match. So that's all I'm just saying there. So nothing more to add. But yeah, Cena cutting a legendary promo like you always do, and let this John Cena retirement tour begin, and it's gonna be wild. So Floyos, back to you.
And I am hopeful that one of those stops is right here in Providence.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm hopeful.
We'll see.
So, yes, we will. So, not much more to say on that. So, next up, this was another one of the big matches of the night right here. Women's World Championship. First, it was announced as a normal match. Then it was announced that it was going to be a last woman standing match. And then they changed it back into a normal match. But nonetheless, we finally had it here tonight. The Women's World Championship on the line. The champion, Liv Morgan, accompanied by Raquel Rodriguez and Dominic Mysterio, defending the title against the challenger and former Women's World Champion in her own right, Rhea Ripley, winner of the match in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. And once again, the new Women's World Champion, Rhea Bloody Ripley. And then after the match was over, Dominic had the nerve to try to make peace with Mommy, but Mommy wasn't having it.
No.
Low blow, kicked him square in the nuts.
Yep.
Field goal. Yep.
Yeah, it was up. It was good, and I think Dom just lost at least 2 generations with that low blow.
A riptide, and then a riptide for good measure.
Yep.
So with that, MF, Mommy is back on top. Rhea Ripley, once again, the Women's World Champion. She wins the title from Liv Morgan. 11 minutes and 40 seconds. New champion. Hit us with those magic words, Monsoon.
Yeah, indeed. It was history indeed made, and an unprecedented crowning, no doubt about it. 3.5 stars is my rating for the match. It was slow a little bit early on, but it did pick up the pace. Raquel and Dom try to get involved, try to interfere. They did that spot at SummerSlam with the Oblivion on the chair to get rid of the evidence, but I only got a 2 count this time around. So at the end of the day, Mommy did it. She won the title. She got the belt back, which almost makes me wonder where they're going to go with this now. Because with Rhea winning the title, obviously Liv can do the obligatory rematch, which opens the door maybe Saturday night's main event, or you could run this back at the Royal Rumble. But if Rhea beats Liv, then what do you do? Then where do you go? That is going to be the big $1 million question, is that did they make a mistake putting the belt back on Rhea when Liv was more than capable of running with the company on the shoulders what she was doing as champion? I think right now we'll wait and see, because, and I'll openly admit it, there are some monster names that is about to make their returns back to WWE. 2 names that I know for sure that would be more than willing to take on Rhea Ripley, and both have history with the Eradicator herself. One is the man Becky Lynch. The other is the Queen Charlotte Flair. Either one of them could come back and they could go after Rhea Ripley. But I will say this, there's already rumors about that it may be Becky Lynch, because they're talking about a monster push upon her return. Could it be possible that the man might be ascending back to the top of the women's division in WWE? I guess we'll wait and find out. But right now, Mommy's back on top. But the big question is, how long is she going to be on top? Anthony Floyer, it's yours.
Rhea's last 2 WrestleMania opponents. I mean, last year was Becky. That was the jump start of WrestleMania 40 altogether. And that was a very good match. But of course, WrestleMania 39 at SoFi, Rhea and Charlotte, the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history. That 5-star thriller, that 5-star classic Shakespearean drama for the then SmackDown Women's Championship. That would be something. But
you don't think that Charlotte Flair has not forgotten about the fact that, and think about this, Charlotte beat Rhea once for the women's title. It was for the NXT women's title at a WrestleMania. That was the first COVID Mania. Rhea got that payback and beat Charlotte for the SmackDown women's title, like you said, SoFi.
Greatest in what was the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history.
Exactly. But could we be on the verge of a sequel, of a trilogy? Ripley versus Flair 3, WrestleMania, Vegas. And the thing is this. We all know there is a rumor that Charlotte also could be in line of breaking her own father's record. Everybody's talking about how, Cena has a shot to get to 17. Could Charlotte also get to 17? And when I mean 17, I mean 17 championship wins in her career. I believe she's got 13 under her belt right now, something like that.
I think it's 13 or 14, somewhere in that
It's at
neighborhood.
least, yeah, I believe it's either 13 or 14. I think it's 13 though.
We'll check the number in a minute, but one other thing I forgot to mention, after the match was over, Rhea Ripley.
How could you forget this? Bullock would
God
absolutely kill you if you didn't mention this part.
Well, mommy, as if regaining her title wasn't big enough. And could you read lips? I was reading her lips. I could have sworn I saw her say, "I missed you so much." And when Daphne LaShawn presented Rhea with the Women's World Championship, but it was after the match was over, as if the night couldn't get any better for Rhea Bloody Ripley. Enter the American Badass, the headliner of the 2022 WWE Hall of Fame, Michael Bullock's all-time favorite, The Undertaker, in his American Badass attire with the motorcycle and the whole nine. And he and Rhea Ripley had a moment, and wow, what a special moment it was for Rhea Ripley. I mean, regaining the title wasn't big enough. Then you got to have a moment with another man who could honestly be considered the GOAT in the form of The Undertaker. I mean, anyways, this was a strong match between two women who were allowed to have their match after months of interference-heavy battles. This was not about a love triangle, nor was it a battle for Dominic. It was a match between two women with their own personal beef and a championship at stake, as it should have been a long time ago. After the match, Ripley got a monster-sized sign of approval as The Undertaker entered the arena and joined her for her exit. I mean, and MF, I'll say this. I'll get to the SummerSlam spot in just a moment. Rhea absolutely demolished Morgan with a powerbomb on the announce table to the delight of a laughing Pat McAfee. Liv Morgan kicked out of Riptide straight up with no interference. A big spot for her that put her over as a wrestler as much as anything she had done throughout her run. And Rhea Ripley kicked out of Oblivion on the steel chair. A nice callback to the spot that led to Liv Morgan's win at SummerSlam. 3.25, 3.5 stars for me. And I'm not surprised with the outcome. I had a feeling Rhea was going to get the belt back, and sure enough, she did. So congratulations, Rhea Ripley. Once again, the Women's World Champion. And now she has just kickstarted her road to WrestleMania 42. Or should I say 41 in Las Vegas. Coming up, let's see. And then we had our next match of the night. Oh, by the way, it was announced that tomorrow night at NXT New Year's Evil, The Rock is going to be on NXT's New Year's Evil. Look out, Eddie Thorpe, if you know what I mean. So, we'll have to wait and see on that one. All right. Our next match of the night, main event, Jey Uso squaring off against Drew McIntyre. Winner of the match, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeet. Main event, Jey Uso. Jey Uso with a crucifix pin on Drew McIntyre. He almost pulled the Bret Hart Diesel spot from the 95 Survivor Series. Pretended he was like out of commission, and then he suckered in Drew McIntyre, crucifix pin, and Jey Uso defeats Drew McIntyre here tonight. Wow, this was a good competitive match that an exhausted audience had trouble investing in. Still, Jey Uso looked great. Drew McIntyre sold the shock and anger of his loss appropriately and will only look to avenge yet another professional frustration that is the direct result of the immensely popular babyface. Travis Scott accompanied Jey Uso to the ring. Surreal moment there. And Michael Cole and Pat McAfee yeeted on the announce table. We did not know how much we needed that pairing back until we got it here tonight. And props to Michael Cole, who did a fantastic job of catching first-time or newer viewers up on the stories so they knew what was going on without ever treading on the diehard fans. 3 to 3.25 stars. By default, this was the worst fight of the night, even though it wasn't remotely bad. It's just that the crowd just, I hate to say it, they were pretty much sitting on their hands during this match.
Yeah.
Not much more to say on that, but if I'm going to be honest, Jey Uso's entrance was actually more entertaining than this match was.
Yeah, it was.
You not only had Travis Scott, one of the biggest rappers and one of the biggest stars in music today, but he not only had Pat McAfee on the announce table. You know, when he stood on the announce table like he's done so many times, I could not believe Michael Cole did it too.
Yeah,
wow.
He did. And the funny thing is, Michael Cole, how the heck am I supposed to get down here now? What am I supposed to do? Look, that's the beauty of McAfee and Cole, that you can get that kind of a reaction, that kind of a moment, man. That was amazing. That was awesome. The crowd in the Intuit Dome, that was hype, man. The whole production, the whole thing with the smoke coming down from the rafter, from that, you know, that special makeshift thing that they did with that dome, with the whole thing, with the it was just insanity, man. I don't think you cannot get away with that in any other place or company or anything like that. That was specifically for the Intuit Dome, for that particular moment at that night. That was insane, man. The Yeet dance was absolutely just amazing. Obviously, the memes were having it. Pat McAfee say, I'm yeeting in Los Angeles. And then he's like, well, just don't. And Michael Cole turns around, just don't yeet on me. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it says it in itself. That I could just leave it there and I'm done with that. The match was 3 stars because of the crowd. I think it was just because of the whole factor of everything that was going on through the night. That, yeah, maybe this was,
and the yeeting and the yeeting. I will admit that it kind of felt like, you know, we need a break. We need something to kind of cool down because man, this has been intense. This has been red hot. Everything else, and we still had a lot of stuff. We still had some stuff to go through the rest of the night here on with Monday Night Raw. So I mean, it felt like at that point that they needed to cool down. We got it. So yeah, 3 stars. Anthony, it's yours. Yeah, and by default, the worst fight of the night as well. So, all right. A lot of backstage stuff. Roman Reigns was shown walking backstage while Paul Heyman was singing his praises. Heyman said they need a platform in which the whole world can acknowledge Roman Reigns. And Roman said, book it for January 27th. And Reigns and Heyman entered a room that had the WWE 2K25 logo on the door.
Oh. Yeah. My boy, a lot of my boys on the Discord server absolutely, pardon my language, they lost their shit on this one. Video gamers around the world, have they just given us the release date for 2K25? Are we getting it this soon? Because that's the rumor. Why would they drop that date? That specific date more than anything else. Now, there's rumors that it could be a trailer, or did they just reveal Roman Reigns as the cover for 2K25, and that might be the reveal of the cover for 2K25 on that particular night, that particular day. We don't know. There's a lot of rumors going around and going crazy right now because people are thinking, is that the trailer? Is that the day where we get to see the cover? Or did 2K just do the unthinkable with no hype, no anything? Are we about to get the game on January 27th? If that's the case, this would be the soonest we've ever had a 2K release for that particular game. Now, traditionally, 2K has always released right before WrestleMania. Traditionally. Now, this is the gamer in me. So I've been following this year in and year out, that they've always had it either in late March or early April. However, January 27th is definitely a day that we need to circle just in case did they just drop a nuke on us with absolute chaos in the building. I can't wait to see what this is about. So, like I said, could that be a trailer? Could that be the announcement that Roman Reigns will be the new cover for 2K25? Or did they do the unthinkable and are we getting a full release? I don't know. But it definitely got my ears perked. And let me tell you, the Discord exploded the minute they mentioned and that 2K25 logo popped. The minute that logo went off, I got inundated with a whole bunch of messages from a whole bunch of people that I hang out with on a Discord server. And there's multiple Discord servers that I'm on that is wrestling related, MMA related, whatever you want to call it. And 2K is definitely away in this group. And I'm telling you right now, when that hit, it went nuts. Like there was an explosion of excitement that broke out.
All right. And then from there, a surprise appearance from the two-time Hall of Famer, the immortal Hulk Hogan, accompanied by his longtime manager and friend, of course, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, waving the American flag. You know, he basically was, cutting a small little promo there. But the big talking point out of this was they booed him out of the building. We're talking Dominic Mysterio, New Day, go away heat.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
And you notice Hogan was stunned. I don't think he expected that.
I honestly didn't expect it myself, but
in a way, I'm not surprised. And I can't say that in a way, was it warranted for Hogan to get that? I hate to say it, but possibly yes. And anywhere else in the world, maybe he gets away. But LA is you're talking about a different crowd, a different era, different time. And I hate to say this, but Hogan has rubbed quite a few people the wrong way, especially in the last few years. And there's been some stuff that's been coming out lately that really shed Hogan on a negative light. Obviously, what everybody remembers, the comments that he made when his daughter Brooke was dating that football player from the Dallas Cowboys and who was African American. He had that anti rant about that. And then there's some other stuff that's been legal troubles for Hogan outside of WWE that almost people were begging WWE to strip him of his Hall of Fame status. If you remember, Anthony,
yes,
that they wanted him out of the Hall of Fame because of comments that he made. And then obviously, everything Hogan kind of went underground. Everything was quiet. Nothing was wrong. And then obviously during this political cycle this year, Hogan reappeared to endorse the Republican nominee, Donald Trump. Yes, soon to be 47th president of the United States, President-elect Trump, that in a way divided the country again. Some people were obviously on the side of Hogan, many not so much. And unfortunately tonight, let's just say the chickens came to roost when it came to Hulk Hogan. And was I surprised with that reaction? Most likely not. But hey, I mean, it was more than anything else because they wanted it to promote his beer that he has, which is I think the All American beer or Great American beer is what he does. Huh?
Real American.
Real American beer. So he's got that going for him. And oh, by the way, WWE is now a minority owner of that Real American beer. So his logo will be as part of one of the advertisements in that ring from now on. But at the end of the day, Hogan was out there just to cut a promo, just to promote the beer and everything else. And the thing is that again, you're in a hostile environment. You're in a IWC capital area. But the thing is that again, Hogan, unfortunately, because of past discretions and things that was mentioned and talked about, and there's even been a couple of documentaries lately that talks about Hogan in a negative light. You got what you got here tonight.
Well, it is what it is, as they say. So,
yep.
So with that being said, before we get to the main event, let's set the table for next Monday's show from San Jose. Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria. The winner of that match will become the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion. Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, they will renew their rivalry. We will see Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser next week. Chad Gable versus a mystery luchador. I wonder who that could be.
Uh-oh.
Wink, wink. All I can say is, Chad Gable, watch your arms, bro. Watch your arms. Because we know what this gentleman is capable of doing with arms now, don't we?
You want to talk about limb manipulation? Yeah. I know you don't like this guy, especially when he does with the arms. Especially with the arms, you do not like this guy. I love him, but I know you don't like him.
Only because of that.
Yeah.
I do admire his abilities though, and it's it's going to be him. And when he shows up in San Jose, what a moment! And last but not least, I think we're gonna finally blow this thing off once and for all. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in a street fight. Street fight. Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And now for the main event of the evening, Seth freaking Rollins squaring off against CM Punk. CM Punk wins the match, 19 minutes, 15 seconds. Well, I got to call this, I'll tell you what, Moments after the fans in LA booed Hulk Hogan and his glorified beer advertisement promo into oblivion, Seth freaking Rollins and CM Punk hit the ring for one of the most anticipated matches in years. The intense hatred and dislike between the two of them manifested itself early and often, with Punk and Rollins throwing fists to start before the fight spilled to the arena floor. And it was CM Punk winning the match. Rollins set Punk up for the superplex Falcon Arrow combo, but Punk countered and delivered GTS, added a second, and scored the pinfall victory. Now it's between this match and Tribal Combat for Fight of the Night honors. This is right around that 4 to 4 1/4, maybe 4.5 threshold. This was an excellent match that had potential to be even better. Some of that can be chalked up to time restrictions, as the show ended at 3 hours and change. Still, Punk and Rollins lived up to the hype with a physical, intensely personal matchup that saw each man do what they could to put the other down until CM Punk did just that. The question now is where this goes from here, as there was a very decisive finish. Michael Cole told the story of a quote-unquote young Colby Lopez, now known as Seth Rollins. Did not have that on the bingo card. The crowd was legitimately split 50-50 for the main event, with loud alternating chants for each man raining down on the superstars from the stands. Rollins delivered a pedigree on the announce table, but appeared to have injured his left knee or shin in the process. So hopefully he's okay. So not much more to say here. 4 to 4 1/4, right around that 4. You can make an argument for 4.5 as well. The other big fight of the night, along with the Tribal Combat match. So not much more to say. MF, CM Punk defeats Seth Rollins, 19 minutes and 15 seconds.
And the funny thing is there's no need to rush if you're WWE. Netflix already told them, you got all the time you need, all the things you want to do. And if you remember the original runtime, they actually said was going to be 3 hours and 20 minutes to 3 hours and 30 minutes. So that was the original runtime. That was what they originally had called for. And basically to end it in 3 hours and 3 minutes, I mean, WWE, you could have extended this. You didn't need to end it so abruptly. Unless there was an audible or something might have happened. Maybe that was not the way it was supposed to be ended. But they even said, when it comes to the runtime, basically there's no limits. Netflix has said, you guys do whatever you want. You guys can post whatever you feel like going. We got you. Besides, we got you for 5 years, $5 billion. So we are good. And that's the grand scheme of this. That's the layout that we're going to get here tonight. And that is that if you're WWE, they even said, look, if there's ever a show where this show could go 1 hour to 2 hours to 3 hours, it could go even longer. There's no limits. So with that type of restriction or that kind of explanation, don't you think that maybe you guys could have, if you guys wanted to go 5 more minutes, you can? I mean, what was the point about ending it so abruptly like that? It's a 4-star fight. It's still a great match. But with all that expected, with everything that they even said, even prior to the show, that there was going to be no restrictions, that they got an open book on everything. When it came to WWE, this is not like on USA or not like CW where there's time restrictions or time limits that you had to hit before the show goes off the air. No. On Netflix, they told them, it's all yours. Do whatever you want. We will give you a free reign on everything you want. And it kind of felt like they tried to pull the rug out from under us. So that's the frustrating part more than anything else. Because like you said, like we were hearing all day, Anthony, there was no time restrictions. And it felt like they kind of restricted it, especially towards the end. But if you notice, after the match was over, both men looked like they both got out of a war. They looked like they both were hurting more than anything else. So maybe this was kind of a nod, wink, wink to New Japan because of Wrestle Kingdom, because of the way that normally these guys destroy their bodies and everything else. And there was kind of that moment where both men looked like they went through hell in this fight. I don't know. Obviously, for CM Punk, next thing for him is Royal Rumble. He already made it abundantly clear he wants to win the Royal Rumble. That's the next mission for him. For Seth freaking Rollins, I don't know where do you go from here. Because, like you said, that was a very decisive victory. Unless it was like a screwy finish or anything else, we could hark and say, we could do a rematch. I think this is one and done, at least in my opinion, Anthony Florio. I don't know what you feel about it. There's no logic or no sense for them to run this back.
No. Well, we'll have to wait and find out. But all right. So overall review, MF. We do have one other order of business that we're going to get to because of the fact that we don't have a show again until Friday. We're going to get into the college football playoff semifinals in just a moment. But before we do that, we're gonna close up shop on what was this monumental night for WWE, the debut on Netflix. And I'll tell you on my end, on my TV, no issue whatsoever. I did not have one issue during this night.
Throughout the entire night, there was hardly any issues. I know there's some people that complained that there may have been like some pixel issues or whatnot, especially on the lower end of it, like the 1080p people. They were having a little bit of some issues, but very, very, very minor issues. The only other issue that they were hearing, that I'm hearing from IWC fans, was the volume. The volume, it seems like it was kind of going all over the place, especially earlier in the night. It kind of was fluctuating from loud to soft, Like there wasn't really it wasn't perfect all the way through, but like I said, couple of nitpicks here and there. As far as the show goes, aesthetically, the feel of it, the look of it, the desire, the design, the action, the promos, everything else, this was a banner night for WWE, and they came out swinging with their best stuff. Tonight, they delivered a show that will be talked about. There will be some scrutiny on certain areas, but they did a good job and a solid performance for me. This was, to me, an 8 to 8.5 out of 10. I think they did a fine job with the body of work, with everything that was included. The matches, even though there was 5 matches, it felt like a PLE, but they made it worth our while. Tribal Combat, go out of your way to watch that match. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, go out of your way to watch that match. The women's world title fight, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan, go out of your way to watch that match. There was very good, solid professional wrestling here tonight that will definitely carry some momentum heading into next week. But more importantly, it gave us a sense that this new direction with this new Netflix era, I gotta say, it starts out with a bang and not a whimper, and it was a very solid show. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, right there with you, MF. I'll make it short and sweet here. One of the best and biggest episodes of Raw ever. From the moment Triple H appeared at the top of the show until CM Punk finished Seth Rollins in the main event, This took on the appearance and feel of a pay-per-view / premium live event. Every match was meaningful. There were star cameos, celebrities in abundance, and a red-hot crowd. This was WWE production at its finest, and a reminder of why the company is better at creating spectacles and must-see television than any other promotion in the world. A massive success for the company. I am right there with you, MF. 8 to 8.5 out of 10 was the exact rating I had going even before you gave your thoughts on it. So I'm 100% in agreement with everything you just said. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got something very special to get into now. Because of the fact that we will not be back with you until Friday night for a huge edition of NFL Friday, Super Wildcard Weekend, we are going to preview the college football playoff semifinals. And it starts this Thursday night at 7:30 on ESPN, as it will be the Capital One Orange Bowl from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. My team, the number 7 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, squaring off against the number 6 seed Penn State Nittany Lions. This game on ESPN. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath. They'll probably have a second reporter. My guess is it'll probably be Katie George, I'm thinking. We'll have to wait and see how they decide to do that. And Notre Dame opening up as a 2-point favorite. The college football playoff semifinals feature classic brands and rare matchups that should make for riveting games leading up to the championship game in 2 weeks. It also features 4 of the top 5 scoring defenses in the FBS. Notre Dame takes on Penn State in the Capital One Orange Bowl. The Irish and Nittany Lions have not played since a home-and-home series in 2006 and 7. The quarterback matchup between Drew Aller and Riley Leonard is intriguing, and either James Franklin or Marcus Freeman will lead their team to a berth in the national championship game. Number 8 seed Ohio State meets number 5 Texas in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic on Friday night. The Buckeyes have emerged as the betting favorite to win the national championship after impressive victories against Tennessee and Oregon. Texas beat Clemson and Arizona State. It's a blue blood matchup that features quarterbacks Will Howard and Quinn Ewers. Coaches Ryan Day and Steve Sarkisian are trying to join the national championship club. Will the Longhorns slow down Jeremiah Smith? The winners will meet in the CFP championship game on January 20th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And let's start it off with the Capital One Orange Bowl with Notre Dame and Penn State. Notre Dame feasts on turnovers. The Irish have a plus 18 turnover ratio for the season, and that was the key in the 23-10 quarterfinal upset against Georgia. Penn State has a plus 10 turnover ratio, and they will have a straightforward game plan against the Irish. The two-headed rushing attack of Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, both 1,000-yard rushers, have helped the Nittany Lions pile up 200-plus rushing yards in 5 of their last 7 games. Penn State had 40-plus rushing attempts and averaged 5 yards a carry in the first 2 rounds. Notre Dame gave up 200-plus rushing yards to both Army and Navy this season. But the run defense proved solid even without defensive tackle Riley Mills. How did the Irish cover All-American tight end Tyler Warren? That will be the key for the linebackers and safety Xavier Watts, who won Sugar Bowl MVP honors. Watts had 17 tackles and a pick in 2 playoff games. Warren has 10 catches for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns as the favorite target for Drew Aller, who has been hot. Since the loss to Ohio State on November 2, Aller averages 201 passing yards a game with 12 touchdowns and 1 interception. The Nittany Lions will stay patient, but they will take a few downfield shots with Aller. Will Notre Dame generate a passing attack with Leonard, who is 38 of 56 and averages 145.5 passing yards in 2 playoff games? Receiver Jordan Faison has been a favorite target, but the Irish are built around the running game with Leonard, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, and Aeneas Williams. All 3 running backs average 6 yards a carry or more, and Leonard averages 55 rushing yards a game in the CFP. How does Penn State slow that running game down? All-American edge rusher Abdul Carter suffered an apparent left arm injury in the 2nd round. Will he play for the Nittany Lions? The Irish are 4-0-1 against the spread when favored by 7 or less points this season. The Nittany Lions are in an underdog role where they are 0-6 straight up and 1-5 against the spread since 2022. Turnovers will be the key. And I think the Irish will win that battle and squeak out a win, maybe on a walk-off field goal by Mitch Jeter. I have Notre Dame winning this game and advancing to the college football playoff national championship game. 23-20, Notre Dame defeats Penn State. So there isn't anything else left for me to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. I believe this is the number 2 game out of this.
This is the number 2 game. Yes, indeed.
With the other one being our game, of course. So
yes.
All right. So Notre Dame, Penn State. Notre Dame wins 23-20. Let's not forget, 1 year ago, you and Michael Bullock celebrated Michigan winning the college football playoff national championship. You boys had your moment last year. Could Notre Dame be one step closer to giving me my moment? Oh my.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, this is going to be an interesting game, no doubt about it. The thing is that, again, you mentioned it. The three-headed monster of Notre Dame, the rush attack is going to be very amazing, and we've got to wait to see how it plays out. But the one area where that Notre Dame might have run trouble is against, again, it's going to be that run attack. Because of the fact that look at what Ashton Gianti, who was the best player in the country, and what he had to do against Penn State. He had a rough night throughout that game. Now, I know the numbers will say, well, wait a minute, Mike. Ashton Gianti only had about maybe 100. He ended up with like 107 yards rushing in that quarterfinal game, that in that bowl game. Don't you think that's a little bit of a no? That's a misnomer, guys. Because think about this: throughout the night, the one run that he actually broke through was a 22-yard scamper. Other than that, he literally got less than 4 yards a carry throughout the night. And he actually lost about 5 times in that game. He actually was taken and knocked back for losses in that game. No, Penn State really carved up and really held Ashton Gianti, who was, oh, by the way, the number 1 running back in the country, Heisman Trophy candidate. Many people thought he should have won the Heisman Trophy, but he was held in check throughout the night. The numbers may tell you differently, but he was held. And now you got Jeremiah Love and that Notre Dame crew. I don't know, Anthony. That might be trouble. If it goes through the air, I think Penn State pins their ears back and they go after. Because the thing is, they're gonna force Notre Dame to win this through the air. They're gonna try to shut you boys down running this game. That run attack, that three-headed monster, they might shut that down. And if they do, Penn State might have a chance to win it. But I don't believe in their offense. Defensively, they're going to be fine. But offensively, can they generate enough offense to get the job done? Unfortunately, I don't think so. I got Notre Dame winning that game. I got them advancing to the national championship game. I know Michael Bullock is here. I just want to give a quick thought on the other game, which is Texas versus Ohio State, because I'm going to get on out of here. I will say this. I believe Ohio State's going to win this game. And the reason why, there's a couple of factors. Number 1, I believe Ohio State now believes that they can win the national championship after what they did to Oregon, after they absolutely stomped them. And they really took them out of that game. They jumped out early. They jumped out early and often. And they did it on all facets of the game. Offensively, they were better. Defensively, they were better. And they just had this look that they were going to be an unstoppable force. 2, there is a lot of questions about cures. about how he's going to handle this situation. He didn't really have a great game. He had a good game against Arizona State, but they were very fortunate to win that game. They need to play a lot more better. But the thing is, there's not that much belief even in the Texas fate. There's not much belief that this guy can deliver the goods and get them to that end. Ryan Day, for all that was worth, has literally saved his job. Now there's no more debate, at least for me. Ryan Day will remain the head coach of Ohio State, especially after what he did in that Rose Bowl game in Pasadena about a week ago. He earned the right to be the head coach of the team. He earned it. He did it. There was always that question, if he doesn't win the national championship, would he be fired or not? No. To me, that debate is dead. That debate is over. The way they beat down Oregon, Ohio State would be freaking morons if they fire him if they lose to Texas. If they don't win that game and for some odd reason they fire Ryan Day, then I'm going to say this and I don't give a damn. Ohio State, you are the biggest joke in college football. There, I said it. Michael Bullock, welcome to the show. Anthony Florio, good night. And I will see you on Friday for the NFL.
Super wild card weekend.
Yeah, good night, Fletch.
All right, MF. Michael Bullock. We'll catch you up on the Raw in a little bit, but
but let's get to the college football playoff first.
Yeah, Notre Dame. We both have Notre Dame winning over Penn State. Are you going to make it unanimous? Are you actually going to go with Penn State in this one?
Yeah, I'm making it unanimous. I'm going with Notre Dame here. I mean, this to me is a team of destiny here. I mean,
and fate.
Exactly. And
because think where we were a year ago. UNMF with Michigan. You guys had your moment. Could it be my moment this year?
We'll see. Could be.
Oh,
but
man.
Penn State's going to make it, is going to keep it close, but I think Penn State will make just enough big plays to be able to eke this one out. So I'm going with Notre Dame here.
All right. So I will now set up the other college football playoff semifinal. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas, Jerry World. The number 8 seed Ohio State Buckeyes squaring off against the number 5 seed Texas Longhorns. ESPN, of course, Friday night, 7:30. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe. I'm sure they're going to have a second sideline reporter. My guess is it'll probably be Laura Rutledge, but we'll wait and see on that. But
it is her.
I thought it was. Okay.
Yeah, I took a look at it. I'm guessing
it'll probably be Katie George with the other crew. Okay. So Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, Laura Rutledge. Ohio State opening up as a 6-point favorite. Michael Bullock, who do you have in the Cotton Bowl?
Yeah, I got to go with Ohio State here. And like Fletch just said, I mean, I think Ryan Day saved his job. I mean, if you would have told me weeks ago, I mean, and like I said, I mean, if they had lost that first round game, I think he would have been done. But after that dominant performance against Oregon in the Rose Bowl,
oof,
it literally saved his job. So, and who knows, maybe after seeing their rival Michigan win it all, could it be Ohio State's time?
Oh, how you want to talk about cruel irony? Oh,
it could be cruel irony. I mean, who knows? So, I'm going to go with Ohio State, and it's going to set up for Notre Dame and Ohio State on Monday, January 20th.
Ooh-wee. If that's the case, ooh-wee. And yeah, cruel irony indeed. A year ago, UNMF and Michigan celebrating. How cruel would it be 1 year later if your most hated rival goes all the way? Oh, damn. But anyways, will Texas get out of the first quarter? Ohio State outscored Tennessee and Oregon by a combined 35-0 in the first quarter, and Jeremiah Smith has not been stopped. Will Howard was 404 for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns on passes of 20 yards or more against the Ducks, according to Pro Football Focus. Ohio State has favored an all-out aggressive game plan with offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, and the running game has picked up with Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Jenkins, and a rebuilt offensive line. All that said, Texas will be a test up front. The Longhorns have an active front seven led by linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. with 7.5 sacks and 16 tackles for loss, and defensive backs Jahdae Barron and Andrew Makuba have 5 interceptions each. Howard will need to avoid turnovers, which he has been able to do in the playoff to this point. Quinn Ewers has a 61% completion percentage with 275 yards a game, 6 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in his last 4 games. Will he have success throwing to his receivers against the Ohio State defensive backfield, which features unanimous All-American Caleb Downs? Matthew Golden, who made the game-tying touchdown catch in overtime against Arizona State, averages 20 yards a catch or more in his last 4 games. Will he make a few splash plays in this game? The Longhorns have to be patient in the running game, and the potential return of tackle Cam Williams should help with that. Williams and Lombardi Award winner Kelvin Banks face a task in slowing down an Ohio State edge rush that features Jack Sawyer and JT Tumialo. The Buckeyes had 8 sacks against Oregon, but part of that was a product of building a 34-0 lead. Texas will make a handful of splash plays against this defense and expect tight end Gunnar Helm, who had 7 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown against Michigan in week 2, to be a heavy target in the first half. Ohio State is 3-1 straight up and 3-1 against the spread when favored by 7 points or less this season, with the lone loss coming to Oregon on October 12th. The Ducks are the only team to score more than 20 points on the Buckeyes this season. Longhorns are 1-5 straight up and 2-4 against the spread as an underdog since Steve Sarkisian became head coach in 2021. Texas keeps it close, but Ohio State advances to the national championship game. I have Ohio State winning it as well. 31-21, Ohio State over Texas. So with that, Michael Bullock, let's get you caught up. The real reason that you're here, I know the real reason you're here tonight. Raw on Netflix.
What a night.
Intuit Dome, Los Angeles, California.
Whew.
Triple H with the video with the
that arena, I'll tell you that right now, it looks freaking awesome.
The beautiful new home of the Los Angeles Clippers. Man. Look, that's something.
Like you said, Triple H kicking off the Netflix era of Monday Night Raw.
With his Are You Ready promo, of course. And
just when you thought it couldn't get any bigger.
A man Triple H had some of the greatest matches of his career against one of the greatest rivalries in WWE history. The final boss himself, the People's Champ, The Rock. Only he didn't really act like the final boss. I mean, he was more, MF said he was more like Dwayne Johnson, and he actually gave credit to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and the executives of Netflix. And well, how about the Rock's promo to start?
That was an interesting promo. I mean, I thought we were going to get the final boss Rock, but I think this is more vintage Rock, aka Dwayne Johnson, and obviously thanking the people at Netflix for making this possible, and even acknowledging Cody Rhodes. So, yeah. I mean, and who knows? Maybe this is a sign that maybe we're not going to see The Rock at WrestleMania.
Well, we shall see. First match of the night, the tribal combat match for the Ula Fala. Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman in Roman Reigns' corner. The winner of the match in 21 minutes and 30 seconds. And once again, in possession of the Ula Fala, once again, the tribal chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns. He wins it in 21 and a half minutes.
Yeah, well, what did you give this?
MF and I gave it about 4 to 4.25, teetering on 4.5, but it was more 4.25, mainly because of the overbook.
4.25. I was going to give it 4.5, but there was obviously interference, obviously the new bloodline, and then of course you had Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso helping out, and yeah, Roman gets the job done. He is once again the tribal chief, the in possession of the Ula Fala, and of course The Rock came out and gave it to him, and they embraced and had a moment. So I guess we can say, Florio, that all is right with the world now.
It is indeed. And then we got a promo, John Cena kicking off his farewell tour, and he made it official here tonight. He has entered his name into the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match, a chance to tie Stone Cold Steve Austin with his third Royal Rumble win. And if he does that, he goes to WrestleMania for a chance to make history and cement himself as the GOAT.
And to break Ric Flair's record, and even Ric Flair is going on the record of saying, Florio, he wants John Cena to break the record.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard it in the past, and yeah, I mean, like you said, John Cena kicking off his farewell tour, and now he's entered his name into the Royal Rumble match. And like you said, now he's going to try to tie Stone Cold for his third win. And the thing is, for you, I mean, who knows who he could also be feuding with during his farewell tour? There could be a number of names that could come off our head.
He even mentioned it. He mentioned names like Logan Paul, CM Punk, Gunther, just to name a few.
Oh man, John Cena and Gunther. Of course,
howdy.
you know who I would love to see John Cena go up against and basically give a "you can't see me" to.
Yeah, Dominic Mysterio. I know.
Yeah, teach that little dum-dum a lesson.
We'll get to him later, but yeah, there you go, John Cena. And for my money and for MF's money, we thought it was the segment of the night. And
yeah, it was definitely the segment of the night for me as well.
And then we had the battle for the Women's World Championship. Liv Morgan with Raquel Rodriguez and the aforementioned Dominic Mysterio in her corner, defending against the challenger and former champion Rhea Ripley. Winner of the match in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. And once again, the new Women's World Champion, Rhea Bloody Ripley. Dominic tried to suck up to her after the match. Rhea wasn't having it. Kicked him square in the nuts and gave him a riptide for good measure.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Haha.
Yeah, that's what you get, dum-dum.
But in all seriousness, Mommy's back on top.
Oh, but wait. There's more.
Oh, yes, yes. There was indeed more. Rhea Bloody Ripley. Mommy's on top. But as if regaining the title that she never lost, if that wasn't great enough, her night got made even better. You heard the gong. And there he was. The bad news is it was not as the dead man, but we'll take it anyway.
Hey, we'll take it anyway.
The American Badass, motorcycle and all.
Your
all-time favorite, Bullock, the Hall of Famer, The Undertaker.
Boy, I mean, well, first off, for the match, I'll give this about maybe 3.25. I was going to give it 3.5, but obviously the interference from Raquel Rodriguez and Dum Dum, it did take away from it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, somehow she overcame it, and she's once again the Women's World Champion. She won back the title that she never lost. And like you said, Florio, just when you thought the night couldn't get even bigger for her, it did with the appearance of the American Badass, The Undertaker. And what a moment that was for Rhea. I mean, she even mentioned in the press conference during the post show that she and she grew up watching him, and who would have thunk that years later she'd be standing right next to the very man who she idolized.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Special moment for
And I'm
mommy
sure
indeed.
that's a moment I think she'll never forget.
Oh, I know you wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. So,
I think
anyways,
I think what would have made it even better if Dum Dum was still in the ring, that the Undertaker goes in there and choke slams him straight to hell.
oh yeah,
And then
and
maybe
then
and then maybe to make it even more better, for I know this is the American Badass version, but if he was the Dead Man gimmick, maybe bring out a double deep, double wide casket, and maybe put not just Dum Dum in there, but not Rhea, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in there.
But anyways, it was announced that tomorrow night at NXT New Year's Evil, The Rock is coming to NXT, Bullock.
Wow. Just when you thought, I mean, things couldn't get any better. Now you got The Rock gonna be in attendance at New Year's Evil tomorrow. Oof.
Look out, Eddie Thorpe.
Oh, yeah, Eddie Thorpe. I think this is one night I don't think you want to be in the building.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay.
because after what you did to his daughter, I think there's a rock bottom coming your way.
Oh yeah. And then from there, the next match, of course, was main event Jey Uso squaring off against Drew McIntyre. Jey Uso wins the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds, but beforehand, rapper Travis Scott accompanied Jey Uso to the ring. And tonight, and MF and I talked about this, we witnessed Jey Uso's greatest entrance ever. I mean, the crowd singing along to the theme song, doing the yeet dance. But what put it over the top? Not just Pat McAfee, but Michael Cole, both men on top of the ringside announce table, yeeting.
Oh, yes. Oh, man. And that's the one thing I love with Pat McAfee being back.
And Michael Cole did it too.
Yes. Oh, man. Just to see both of them yeeting away. Woo.
Yeah. We're used to seeing Pat McAfee on top of the announce table. If you told me that Michael Cole was going to do it too, I would say, not on my bingo card. Oh, no. But he did it anyway. Oh,
hey, Michael Cole, for you to do that, I'm going to say right now, yeet.
Yeet. And a yeet for Jey Uso as Jey Uso defeats Drew McIntyre 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeet.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give this about maybe about a 3.25 on this one. I mean, obviously not the outcome that Drew McIntyre was looking for. He was open to go, take down those associated with Roman Reigns, but the Yeet Man made sure that ain't gonna happen on my watch. It's gonna be party time. It's Yeet time tonight for Jey Uso. So who knows what's next for both of these men?
Well, we'll find out. And then the controversial moment of the night, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan comes out
with the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart,
his longtime manager and friend. Absolutely. Jimmy Hart with the American flag. And of course, Hulk Hogan has that beer brand, of course, Real American Beer. And of course, in a sense, it was kind of a plug for that. But the big talking point was Hulk Hogan got booed out of the building, man. Oh.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I was a little stunned myself. I mean, one of the biggest names in the history of the wrestling business. I know he's rubbed some people the wrong way over the years. I get that. But for him to get the heat that he got tonight, it felt almost like Dominic Mysterio New Day type heat.
I'll say right now, it was trifling unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I get Hulk Hogan's rubs. You know what? I'm gonna call out these fans tonight. I mean,
and it also could be because of his political affiliation with Donald Trump and all that.
look, I get all that. I get his stance with Donald Trump. I know he's rubbed some people the wrong way, but it's still Hulk Hogan, for gosh sakes. And for you to come out and to come out on the premiere of Raw on Netflix and boo this icon, this legend, to all you people, you're pointless, that was pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, and borderline reprehensible. I mean, this is a historic night. They're pulling out all the stops. You're bringing out one of the greatest to ever, one of the greatest superstars in WWE history, in the immortal Hulk Hogan, and you boo him? No, I'm sorry. That was just so wrong of you people. So for me, it's a no yeet for you fans.
Can't please everybody.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
Yeah.
Damn Next shame week, of that. What damn shame to take away from it. It kind of felt like it just took something away from that. From
definitely the low point of the night for sure.
Yeah.
Next,
and again, I'll say it right here. I get he's rubbed some people the wrong way. I get because of his stance of Donald Trump, but this guy is a legend, for gosh sakes. And for you to treat him like that, shame on you people.
Yeah. Next week on Raw in San Jose, Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria to crown the first ever women's intercontinental champion. Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, they're going to go one-on-one. Pat McAfee gets to do the fight night bit next week.
Oh, yes.
Chad Gable versus a mystery luchador. Wonder who that could be. And then from there, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in a street fight. So that's what you're going to see on Raw in San Jose next week. The main event of the evening, CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. CM Punk wins the match 19 minutes and 15 seconds.
What was it? What are we talking about?
CM Punk and Seth Rollins.
What did you guys give it?
We gave it about 4 to 4 1/4, teetering on 4.5.
Yeah, about another 4 1/4. I mean, it lived up to what it was. I mean, a match that was over 10 years in the making, and CM Punk got the best of Seth freaking Rollins here tonight. What a way to close out the debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
And your overall thoughts?
What did you guys give it?
8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. This was definitely a good show, a good way to, like I said, a good way to start off the Monday Night Raw era on Netflix. So I don't know about you, Florio, but I got a feeling next week is going to be somewhat of a little bit of a step back. I hope it's not too much, but
well,
we'll see.
But we will see.
But this is a good start. So 8.5. So let's put a bow on this.
All right. So with that will put the bow on this very long night here on Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for not only tuning in but staying up with us as well. Because of our recent events, of course, we will not be with you. We will not be back with you again until Friday night. And on Friday night, NFL Friday, we kick off the NFL playoffs Super Wild Card Weekend. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Houston Texans, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens, the Denver Broncos versus my Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Commanders versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Rams. We'll get into all of that on Friday night. 11 p.m. start time, immediately following SmackDown, of course. And then Saturday night, around 10 or 10:30 or so, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk. We will review NXT New Year's Evil, and we will review Friday Night SmackDown. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all again, Ridiculously Raw, episode 2 of the Netflix era. So that's it. So until Friday night for NFL Friday, This is Anthony Florio here for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. And of course, always and forever, our First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of your week. And until Friday night, for NFL Friday Super Wildcard Weekend Edition, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, and especially after tonight, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.